Welcome. Today we are going to discuss most important topic, which is China and South China Sea concern. So before we start, let's see which points we are going to discuss. First is location, second is theme, third is why, reason, fourth is issue, fifth is recent development, sixth is how it affect world, way forward, and important points. So let's get started. So first we talk about the location. So South China Sea is basically situated between Bay of Bengal and West Pacific Ocean. You can see that this area is known as South China Sea. So one of the most point about it that it is the biggest sea in the world, around 35 million square kilometer its area. And as we can see the description, the South China Sea is a marginal sea that is the part of Pacific Ocean, encompasses an area from Karimata and Malacca Strait. Where is the Malacca Strait? Here the Malaysia, and here the Singapore, and this is Indonesia. This is called Malacca Strait. So this is the South China Sea, and it is also known as gateway of Bay of Bengal and Indian Ocean and West Pacific Ocean. So we have discussed about the location. Now we discuss the theme. What is the region of about the contention? What is the region? So South China Sea is the bone of contention of between China and Southeast Asian countries, mainly five. You should know the name of mainly five countries. First is Vietnam, second is Malaysia, third is Brunei, fourth is Philippines, and fifth is Taiwan, and sixth is China itself. So what is the problem? And Indonesia is also, but not in whole, but it is also a with bone is, it is also problem with China. So what happens? China drew an imaginary line in South China Sea known as 9-dash line, and claiming that area as its own territory in order to extend its exclusive economic zone. What is the 9-dash line? It is this U-shaped line. So China claimed that area inside the U-shaped line is its own exclusive economic zone. So in this, there you should remember the three name of Iceland which I mentioned. First, this one is Peresil Iceland, this one is Scarborough Shoal Iceland, and this is Spratly Iceland. You should know name of these Iceland and name of these five countries as well. So what's happened? Why? What is the reason that China claiming its own area? First, I mentioned that it want to expand its exclusive economic zone, and there are many reasons. Like South China Sea is big reserve of oil, 11 billion barrel estimated. So and natural gas 190 trillion feet cube estimated. So you should know about that. One barrel, one US barrel, you can be asked, one US barrel is equals to 158 liters. And if this China can attain, then it will be not dependent on Arab countries, Gulf countries. Huge fishery sources, and in South China Sea there is huge fishery sources, 10% of the world, and 30% of global shipping passes from here. So it is a bigger way for sea trade, and if the China can occupy this area, then it get revenue from the ships. And it is, as earlier I mentioned, that it is gate pass between Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean, and market of 1800 million people. So because it is market of 1800 billion people, because all the Southeast Asian countries are connected with this South China Sea. So what is the problem? According to UN Convention on Laws of Sea, exclusive economic zone is 200 nautical mile from the coastal area. You should know about that. One nautical mile is equals to 1.82 kilometers. But China is, what is China doing? Is violating this by crossing it with 9-dash line, as I showed the 9-dash line earlier. So we can see in this map there are 5 countries and 3 Iceland: Peresil, Scarborough Shoal, and Spratly. So Spratly Iceland is bone of contention between all countries. And if we talk about Spratly Iceland, it is bone of contention between Vietnam, Taiwan, and China. And if we talk about Scarborough Shoal, which is bone of contention between China, Vietnam, China, Philippines, and Taiwan. So and along with it, China is constructing artificial island in the region, which is known as its land reclamation project in the region. And in this, according to this, China is developing its military bases, and US calling these bases Great Wall of Sand. So what's happening, that earlier UN clause, United Nations Convention on Laws of Seas Permanent Court of Arbitration said that 9 days line of China is illegitimate and violates UN clause. And Permanent Court of Arbitration awarded Scarborough Shoal to Philippines, but China refused to abide by PCA. And US and other countries criticized China for deliberately violating India international law. So what's happened? China didn't give Scarborough Shoal to Philippines back. And what in present, the most surprising thing, what is happening in present, 22 April, what happened? China renamed disputed Iceland, established new administrative district in Spratly and Parasil. When whole world is busy in containing COVID-19, China doing military drills, exploiting maritime assets, celebrating success in energy exploitation in the South China Sea. Increase this, what this result, increase aggression of Chinese Navy Coast Guard fishing vessel, because recently Chinese Coast Guard sunken Vietnamese fishing vessel near Parasil Island. So this shows that aggression of China is increasing in the region, and that will harm all the countries in the region. So following policy of regional expansion, China, what is China doing? Following policy of regional expansion in order to counter USA Vietnam FONOPS joint, which was held in Jan Feb. And what is that FONOPS? Freedom of navigation operation. Because US is already saying that there is freedom of navigation in ocean, but China is affecting it by its aggressive policy. So how it affect world? Let's know that how it affect world. So first, it directly affect Asian nation, because China is aggressive towards them and encroachment on their own exclusive economic zone and affect their economy badly, because if their fisheries are exploited by China, so there was loss of revenue for them. So this is the problem. And the second one is USA. USA, this will affect USA's trade with Asian nation. And as I earlier mentioned, because this is the gateway between Pacific Ocean and West Atlantic Ocean. So what's happened, that US have to pay fare to the China, fair tax to the China for shipping passage, challenging US supremacy in Western Pacific Ocean. As I mentioned earlier, freedom of navigation, yes, this also I mentioned earlier, that freedom of navigation will come in the problem. How it affect India? So first thing, that trade, simply trade with ASEAN will affected, and policy of regional expansion can be affect India in future, because Indian Ocean region is also near China. So if China can encroach the exclusive economic zone in South China Sea, it can also affect in future Indian Ocean region, because what is saying that China is developing string of pearls in order to cover India from 4 sides. So this can be seen in future if we do nothing now. And how can we counter China? This is the biggest question that way forward. So ASEAN, what is ASEAN doing? Proposed code of conduct. It is follow with China, that how to contain China from its aggression and that's things. And other world what can do? Rule based. It can establish rule based world order in Indo-Pacific Ocean. Why? Because in present Pacific Ocean is hub of global geopolitics. Earlier in the World War II, Atlantic Ocean was the hub of global geopolitics. And so what is happening now? We talk about rule based world order. So rule based world order means system through which countries uphold rules and regulation that have been laid out under international law and help maintaining peace and stability and order in region, because China is violating law, so this is required. And along with it, what is India, US, Japan, Australia doing? That is established an informal group known as Quad in order to contain China's aggression in the region, but India is not supporting it in the military aspect. So India should support it in military aspect in order to contain China's aggression in the region. What can India do? Let's see that export defense equipment to ASEAN. That recently we have seen that India exported its supersonic cruise missile BrahMos to the Vietnam, and also it's planning to export its light combat aircraft Tejas to the many Asian friendly country, and it established Andaman and Nicobar command, which is tri-service command established in 2002 in order to counter China. And Sabang port, yes, India has developed Sabang naval base at Singapore, which is situated in the Malacca Strait. So it is very important asset in order to counter China in the South China Sea and Indian Ocean region. And what India doing is military exercise like PASEX in 2017, which was took place between US, Japan, Philippines, and India in order to counter China's aggression. So what is the important thing you should know about the name of the Iceland, the name of the countries, and what can India do? These three things you must know about that if you are going to, and it is an important topic because it can be asked in your interviews. Thank you for watching. Next topic, most important, one belt one road. Like and share, subscribe. Jai Hind. And at last, I thanks to all who subscribed my channel recently, and please keep your helping hand towards me by subscribing my channel, like and share my videos so that can give I can give you best contents. Thank you.